Hello, Mr. Newland here. Welcome to World of Warcraft. So this is the main retail version of World of Warcraft. It's not classic. So World of Warcraft, MMORPG or massive multiplayer online role-playing game from 2004. So the classic version of World of Warcraft is the same version that was released in 2004 pretty much, whilst the retail version is updated multiple times over, and we are playing the retail version, but I still have my old characters. So when I recorded earlier in this game, I didn't have any voice because I was streaming the game on my Windows 10 computer. I played on Windows 7, my gaming computer is Windows 7, but I streamed on Windows 10, so that's why if I want to use a microphone I need to use it on the Windows 10, but for some reason I couldn't get it to work. Whenever I plugged in the microphone, the sound disappeared, and whenever I got the sound to work, the microphone disappeared instead. And recording on the Windows 7 doesn't work as well as it did half a year ago in September, before September 23rd, 2024, because I uninstalled the graphics drivers and have been having a hard time updating my graphics drivers. So Bandicam stopped working, NVIDIA Shadowplay recorder stopped working, and so on. So I'm using the screen recorder now, which is much worse. The sound works. So I'm just gonna do a short video with my sound, so I could speak, but I prefer using either the Steam recorder or the streaming using Bandicam on the other computer. So if I use Steam recorder, the problem is that the microphone won't work because there is like interruptions and stuff. So it's really annoying to speak using the Steam recorder. So instead, I prefer not to speak when I use it. I tried it and there were constant interruptions. When I stream using Bandicam on the Windows 10, it works fine, but the microphone still won't work unless I use it on that computer, and then there will be no sound from the game instead. There's a problem with the sound. So I probably will need either to buy a new computer to get Bandicam and NVIDIA Shadowplay recorder etc. to work again, or I would need to leave my old computer to someone so they can fix it. I mean, if we could update the graphics drivers back to the 2021 update that I had previously, prior to September 23rd last year, 2024, then it would work fine, but the problem is that it's almost impossible to update the drivers. And the reason I uninstalled them was because I tried to get the game Palworld to work that I bought in February, I believe, last year in 2024. So I tried to get it to work in September. I succeeded, but NVIDIA Shadowplay stopped working instead because I reverted the graphics drivers to get it to work, and after a recommendation, and then NVIDIA Shadowplay recorder stopped working instead, and then I thought if I uninstalled the drivers I could just reinstall them and it would start working again, but unfortunately it was impossible to reinstall them because Windows 7 is no longer supported, and any automatic update fails because it tries to automatically update to a Windows 10 update, and when I try to get them manually from the site, I could only update from 2013 until 2018, I believe. So I do not have the updates for 2020, 2019 and 2021. And whenever I try to install another update, it fails. And it's very weird because I know that I had a 2021 update previously. But yeah, I've been unable to update the drivers, so I cannot use NVIDIA Shadowplay recorder, which is the best recorder when playing games in my opinion. Lags the least, and unlike Bandicam, won't lose any recorded material if the game crashes. For example, if you play Medieval Total War and the game crashes, then it would stop recording and would lose 10 minutes or so, 5 minutes of the recording. With NVIDIA Shadowplay you lose nothing, and Bandicam gets stuck in Diablo 2 for example, but NVIDIA Shadowplay worked fine in Diablo 2, same with Room to War when using the CD or DVD. If you used the Steam version it worked fine with Bandicam, but if you used the DVD it would get stuck the screen. Okay, so we are in World of Warcraft. We'll take a look at my old characters. I already did a video taking a look at them, but we'll do it anyway. So this character, I remember that I made some characters in the past. We can see realms. So in the past in World of Warcraft you had different realms, and things were different back then. For example, in each realm you had different characters, and you could only have alliance characters on one server. So for example, I could only have alliance characters on Stormscale, my server, my main server that I played on. I played mostly on this server. So I could only have alliance characters on it. If you played alliance, you could only have them on that server. And if you played Horde, you could only have Horde on that server, because there is a player versus player system where the Alliance and the Horde are fighting each other and are in constant war against each other. So they didn't want players to have characters of both races on the same server, because there is this mailbox system where if you have a human paladin, for example, then you can send gear that you get in the game, you get money, etc. You can send it to your other characters. And in the past, they didn't want the player to be able to send gold or gear from an alliance character to a horde character, from a horde character to an alliance character. So they were locked to only one side of the conflict. And this has changed. Now you can have both horde and alliance on the same server, which is very good, because that allows, for example, a human paladin to send gear or gold to an orc or a blood elf character. That wasn't possible in the past, because you cannot send mail to characters on other servers, but you can send mail to characters on the same server. And by allowing both sides on the same server, you can now send gear to characters that are on different sides, which is good. Back in the day, they were locked. So because I played on Stormscale, because I believe in 2004 that my classmates that also all played World of Warcraft when it released, it was super huge. Everyone played World of Warcraft. They all played on Stormscale and played Alliance. So I ended up playing Alliance, and they all, I believe, after a while, they leveled up to level 60 max level, and I fell behind, so I started to play with random strangers from the internet, from the game. But yeah, it started with me and my friends playing on Stormscale, and we played Alliance. So I played humans, gnomes, dwarves, and Rane after the Burning Crusade released. Okay, and yeah. If I wanted to play a horde character, I needed to go to a different server. So that's why I have characters on some different servers when playing horde characters. So Meteordon was my main server for playing horde characters. And then I had some others, because sometimes the servers were full. So you had to create a character on a different server if you wanted to play. I hardly ever touched the characters on other servers. For example, Terinas, Becknilash, etc. I hardly ever played with characters on these servers. I made a bunch of characters, and then I probably never played with them for the most part. Meteordon is different, because it was a horde server. So I had a blood elf there that I played a bit with, but for the most part I was on Stormscale, and as I weren't allowed to use the horde on Stormscale, I ended up playing only alliance characters mostly. Now in 2025, and I don't know for how long, but probably for a few years, you can have horde and alliance on the same server, and you can send mail between them, so that's a great change. And this means that you do not need to have characters on other servers anymore. in order to play the other side. And also, in the past, when you logged into a server, you got access to the characters on that server, so you would only see the characters from the server you are logged into. But now you have every character from every server here. So if you check, for example, this Powerman Toren guy, if I hold the mouse here, I see that he is on the Earthen Ring realm, which is a server. And sometimes I see that the models are not the same if you are not logged into the actual server. See if it changes anything. Sometimes they look the same. This is how he is looking on the server. Powerman, I made a Toren there for the Horde. I never played with him. I have never played, probably, or I played very little. We are still at level 1. He's a shaman. Then I did do a blood viz. In my older video, all the blood elves in the beginning of this row here had red ponytail hair. That's because we were on the wrong realm. When I logged into Nilash, they got their correct looks, and they seem to still have it, but we'll log into the correct realm. So I did a bunch of characters because I didn't know what I wanted to play as. First of all, I wanted to have characters with all the different hairstyles because I thought they were attractive and wanted to have many different variations, and enjoyed the process of creating characters and giving them different hairstyles and such. But also, they have different classes in the game have different skills, etc. You know that if you've played World of Warcraft, but if you haven't, so yeah, a mage has different skills from a priest, and a different role when you play with others. For example, the priest heals the party, whereas the mage deals a lot of damage to many enemies with powerful spells. So I made characters that look different with different classes in case I want to replace them. And the reason I never played with these characters is because I was on Storm Scale and hardly ever logged into the other servers. If it had been 2025 or the last 10 years maybe, then I would have probably played these characters more because they are in the same menu here. But in the past you logged into Storm Scale and only had the Storm Scale characters, so you never really saw the others. You needed to log into a different server, and it wasn't as easy as here. I click there and then I click on one server and log in. In the past also, I believe they had verse queues. I believe that servers were full more often and such, so it was more difficult to enter a server. Okay, but yeah, here we have a Blood Elf priest. So I believe in original World of Warcraft, released in 2004, play as a human, a gnome, a dwarf, I believe, those three races, and then for the Horde it was a troll, an orc, or an undead. Then in the Burning Crusade, the expansion released in 2006, and yeah, I was in one of those giant rows during the middle of the night to get the expansion. They added the Blood Elf race for the Horde and the Draenei race for the Alliance. And I never really played as a Draenei. I played as the Blood Elves from that expansion, but I still mostly played with my old classic characters on the Alliance side. Yeah, so when I played World of Warcraft, I played mostly quests and instances from level 1 until maybe level 58. I never did any of the 40-man raids where you gather a team of 40 people and do raids, or instances with 40 people. I thought it was too much to gather 40 people. It was annoying. When you gathered, I believe there were 20-man raids and 10-man raids too. I did a bunch of 10-man raids. They were fun. But the annoying part was that when you gathered 10 people, that they left all the time, so it was very annoying to get going. But it was fun when you managed to do it, and usually we were in a guild, so that it was easier to get others to join when you wanted to do an instance. But yeah, I never did any larger instances than 10 people, and the maximum ones were 40, I believe. objectives. I never did any of the 40-man stuff, and therefore I have never really finished the game, because all the late game stuff requires 40 people or so, I believe, at least 20, and I only did the 10-man stuff. Alright, but I enjoyed replaying the early stuff a lot, so did the early stuff over and over again, like Sulfurak or the Dead Mines, etc. Alright, so this is the Blood Elf Mage. She was created but has not been played. She's level 1. Same with this one. Level 1 Priest. They have different hairstyles because I wanted them to look a bit different from each other. I liked variation. I tried making them good looking. Okay, Blood Rogue. So this is a rogue. That's a good class for a Blood Elf. She also has a different hairstyle. None of them have been played. Demonjägare, Swedish for Demon Hunter. Demonjägare means Demon Hunter in Swedish. Alright, so before the Demon Hunter class I made a Blood Elf Warlock named Demon Hunter. Okay, she looked like this. Thought this hairstyle fit Demon Hunter, so these characters were probably made right after I got the Burning Crusade expansion, which was in late 2006, I believe. Okay, we have Trema, Warrior, Tauren, Blade Fist Realm, not played, Dark Nymph, level 1 Warlock. She is on Magteridon Realm, while the other one believe was on Vecnilash realms. The reason I have two of them is that they are in different realms. So Magterion was my main horde realm. So I recreated her there because I didn't want to play on the Vecnilash realm. Also, one main thing with realms back then was that if your friends were on Stormscale, then if you played on a different realm, they couldn't play with you because the realms are like separate from each other. It's the same game, but they have different populations. So if you wanted to play with a friend, you needed to be on the same realm as your friend. So that's why mostly you didn't leave the realm that you were on. So I didn't leave Stormscale for most of the time. But if I wanted to play the other side, in essence, if I wanted to play a Blood Elf, I needed to play the Horde. And if I wanted to play the Horde, I couldn't play on Stormscale, because back then I couldn't have both sides on the same realm. So I had no choice but to play on a different realm. And that's why I made other characters on different realms, but Magterion was the main one. Okay, so Dark Nymph was on Magteridon, level 1. Then we have an Undead Rogue, Jaina Dead. Yeah, I wanted to make a Jaina Proudmoore Undead inspired character. Anyway, she hasn't been played in either, level 1. Castlevanias. I don't know what the name is inspired by. It's the manga. I had the Warcraft manga, by the way. Since I was a teen, I read the Sunwell trilogy. I liked it. So I believe I was inspired when I played Blood Elves by that manga, I believe. Anyway, Castlevanias level 1 Paladin, not been played, level 1. Reynoldania, level 1 Mage, Everstone Woods, not been played. We have Mags, need to rename. I don't remember making a gnome that looked like this, but we could move to the Storm River realm, see if the look is different there. No, but I believe that I had let a friend named Rasmus borrow my account for a short time, so he might have made this character, because I didn't make gnomes. He did make two other characters, namely Barter Old, this gnome here. He was named Barker. I just spelled the name wrong. I was forced to rename him when I logged in a few days ago. You saw that in the video when I renamed him in order to enter the game, and I spelled his name wrongly. I thought it was Barter, but it was Barker. guy that barks. A small guy that barks. Okay, but yeah, he was Rasmus's character that he played. But I got it when he returned the account to me. I mean, I let him use the account for a short period of time, and then I got it back. And then he had created two characters. He had created Barker, the gnome, and he had created Rem, a dwarven warrior that we saw in a previous video. And I leveled up this guy. He was at level 22 or so. I think he was when Rasmus was done, or 14. I don't remember. 14 or 22, I believe. And then I leveled him up to 47. And essentially I played until he got the Felguard or Doomguard minion. But the main reason I played with him was to get the succubus, because I really wanted a succubus companion back then. So I hardly played with the gnome after he had gotten the succubus. Well, I played a bit with the succubus, of course. Then I tired. I believe the main fun was playing until you got the succubus, and then I didn't have much interest in it anymore. I played mostly these two characters, but we'll go back to them later. But this was Rasmus's character and the dwarf. I replaced the dwarf with a goblin. I paid for a service where you can change realm. I wanted to change Bellatrix undead, human undead, to the horde, because I didn't like how she can't use the skeleton horses. I mean, she's a death knight and needs to have a skeleton horse. I thought by changing to the horde she would be able to use a skeleton horse, but then they said it was written that I needed to change her race, and I didn't want to change her race. I just wanted her to be able to use the skeleton horse. So then I decided to change a different character, the dwarf, instead, because if it was my character, I would never have made a dwarven warrior, and I would never have made a gnome male warlock. I might have made a female of some of these races, maybe. I'm more likely to have made a troll, female troll warlock, maybe, and a goblin warrior, but the goblins weren't available back then, so I couldn't do it. But I believe the trolls were. So yeah, the reason this guy is a male and is a gnome is because Rasmus made him. If it was me, I would have made him a female for sure. Okay, so we can go back to the others. Let me see here. Calsylvanas. Yeah, this is probably his character, because I didn't make male gnome characters. Remoko, I don't recall making a male undead neither. He's level 2, so I could be wrong. I might have done him some early stage, just for fun. He has been played very little. Tearsful Glaze, level 2. Elvina, a human mage, played very little. I believe I did this character. She's a blonde. I liked making blondes. She's not the most attractive, but she's been played for one level, to level 2. Pennsylvania, another blood elf priest at level 2 this time. Materiodon, realm, so she's level 2. Played a little bit with her. It was back in the day when the max level was 60, and when it took forever to level up, but one level was still pretty fast. Yeah, 21 levels took a lot of time back then. Anyway, she is on Materiodon. We have level 3 Hunter that I don't remember that I made. Might be Rasmus's character. Could be wrong. I don't remember playing with him. Then we have Vinla. This girl I do believe that I made. Level 3 Hunter. But she doesn't have any pet, so she has hardly been played. So the Hunter class is the class that can capture wild animals that can be used for fighting in the game, and not smaller pets that are used in Pokemon like battles, but actual giant pets that help you fight real enemies in the game. This is the only class that can have that. The warlock can have demons instead, like the succubus, but this girl can have animals like tigers or raptors or wolves or bats, giant bats. but I hardly played as her. 3 levels. Big Feast. Here I played 3 levels with a Tauren Shaman. He looks a little bit better than the others. Beatrice, my cousin, is named Beatrice. So this character wasn't my character. It's a human paladin, level 3, Stormwind City. 3 levels back in the day. Still took maybe some hours, few hours maybe. I didn't play this character. I visited my cousin, I believe, back then, and tried to get him to play the game, World of Warcraft. In the past I had gotten him to play Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 3 The Frozen Throne, and I gotten him to play Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. So I probably tried to get him into World of Warcraft 2, but he didn't like World of Warcraft for some reason, unlike Diablo 2 that he actually liked, and Warcraft 3 that he liked. He also liked Battle for Middle-earth and Battle for Middle-earth 2. We used to play LAN in those games. But anyway, he didn't like World of Warcraft, but he did one character. I believe I may have created the character and named her Beatrice, but certainly it was her brother that played the character. So I have never played with this character. It was my cousin that played with her for 3 levels, but didn't really like the game. So she hasn't been used since. I don't remember exactly when he played as her, but it was when I visited. At some point we installed World of Warcraft on his computer, and he logged into my account, and he made this character, and he played as this for 3 levels. So then she has never been played again. She still exists. So she's not deleted. Okay, and then we have this character Sephiroth, which is inspired by Sephiroth, but from Final Fantasy VII. But I couldn't use Sephiroth. I couldn't use an AO here. I needed to use an A because the name is already taken. And yeah, he looks like Sephiroth. He has Sephiroth's hair. Sephiroth's hair and in front too is slightly different, stylized different, but it looked very much like Sephiroth's hair on a Blood Elf. So I couldn't resist the temptation to create a Sephiroth character here. But I played only for 3 levels. He's a level 3 paladin. He is at the Vecnilash realm. And yeah, he looks like Sephiroth, which is pretty cool. Sephiroth was my favorite Final Fantasy VII character. Later, when I got, I believe, as a teen, I believe, maybe I liked Tifa because she was hot, but Sephiroth was my, the guy I liked because he was badass. So yeah, as a teen I wanted to be Sephiroth. He was the most badass character in Final Fantasy VII. Tifa, on the other hand, I believe, might have been the one you thought were like the most attractive girl in the game, but this guy was the most badass villain in the game, and for some reason this character had a similar hairstyle to Sephiroth, so I made the character. I usually didn't play as male characters, but I couldn't resist it when I saw that he looked exactly like Sephiroth. Okay, Paparappa, another Tauren, level 4, but looks like he's level 1. I don't know why he has no gear. Let's see here, Blade Feast realm. Let's log into Blade Feast and see if he has some different gear. Yeah, he looked different here. He was brown, but he still has no gear. And he's level 4. Still played for 4 levels here. I don't remember if this is my character or Rasmus's character, but I think it's mine. But Paparappa, it's a Swedish kind of name. It's not a name, but kind of Swedish word at least. Sylvanas, I made an undead. Sylvanas' name used a C instead of S at the end there. Tried to make her attractive, despite her being an undead. She looked pretty good. I don't know why she has no clothes. Probably I just undressed her for the menu way back in the day. But yeah, she's level 5, a rogue. I remember playing with her a bit. Level 5 undead rogue at Vecnilash realm. The negative thing with having characters in different realms is that they can't send stuff to each other. So if I get money or the game, or gear, and want to send it to one of my other characters and they are on different realms, it won't work. So they need to be on the same realm if I want to send gear to between them. Okay, Jaina PR. I did a mage based on Jaina Proudmoore. He's level 6 and he's in Westfall, Earthen Ring realm. So yeah, that was one of my mages. Also, by the way, levels have been squished by Blizzard. So characters that used to be level 58 back in the day are level 24 now. So I don't believe this character necessarily were at level 6. What I can say is that all the characters that are level 1 were level 1. And then there are some others that probably were the same or slightly higher in the past. It is likely that they were slightly higher. So for example, the level 1 guys that have never been played before, they were level 1. And then level 2 and level 3 guys, I don't know. But they may have been slightly better, I could be wrong. And then when we get to the characters here, like Sylvanas level 5, I think it is likely that she might have been level 10 or something when I played. And they have reduced her with 5 levels or so. It is likely she was better than level 5. Same with this character, but not much better than level 10, but I believe they were better than 5. Maybe level 10, level 11, level 12, around there. Okay, then we have Trollna, a troll hunter with a raptor pet, and we have Shadow Bride, a level 6 hunter. Both are level 6, they were higher I believe in the past. I don't know if level 10 was the level you needed before you could get a pet. If that's the case, they all were level 10 at least. This character actually was my very first character that I ever created in the game. Shadow Bride, the troll hunter. Yeah, I remember in 2004 when I first got the game, I created this character and played with a friend. He played on my other computer. I believe, no, we played on this, I believe, I was on a LAN probably when I created this character and they played on different computers on that LAN. But yeah, this is my first character. The reason I remade her and leveled up this girl is because I didn't like her hairstyle. Here she looks like a cool character. Here she looks more attractive. I wanted her to look more attractive, so I remade the character and gave her a different name. And they have different pets. They are at the same level. They are level 6 here, so they probably were level 12 or something in the past. Could have been more, I don't remember. I didn't play a lot with them. This was my first character, but I hardly played with her. Okay, because I ended up playing Alliance on Stormscale instead of Horde on Vecnillars. My first character was on Vecnillars. Okay. This character is also level 6, a warrior, human warrior. She needs a new name. She was named Prostituerad in Swedish as a joke. It means prostitute in English. So obviously they probably want you to rename such a character. But anyway, I played for 6 levels. I believe she must have been level 12 or something at least when I played. They have nerfed all the characters. They are way lower than they were. It's at least half the level of where they were, I believe. Except if they are level 1, then they are still level 1. Okay, so anyone above level 1 was probably twice the numbers. For example, level 3 must have been level 6 at least. Okay, and level 6 must have been level 12 at least. Okay, so this was kind of a joke character I made. I wanted a warrior, human warrior, instead of a paladin, because when I played instances, I thought the paladin wasn't as tanky. I wanted a tank, so I remade the human female, gave her a different hairstyle, and wanted her to be my new main, but I never really played with her much, so she never reached the level of the paladin. Okay, Trollna level 6 warrior. Remember making a female orc warrior. Troll is the main chieftain of the horde in Warcraft 3. Chieftain or chief troll horde, and I just named her Trollna. Level 6 warrior. She must have been at least level 12. Okay, Undreget, it means evil beard in Swedish. He's a Oran warrior. I did make this dwarf. I thought this looked like a Dark Iron dwarf. Back then the Dark Iron dwarfs weren't playable. But I thought this skin was a Dark Iron dwarf essentially, so I made him as a Dark Iron dwarf essentially before the Dark Iron dwarfs were playable. Okay. Then we have Himmelmass. Her name is inspired from the Ragnarok manhwa, which is a Korean manga. We are one of the villains. We are a necromancer female named Himmelmass that I thought was hot, so I tried to create that character here. But she looks far from as hot here as I did in that manga. Anyway, she's a level 7 warlock. The main reason I made her was because I didn't want to play a gnome warlock. I wanted a female, and I thought a human female fit. I had read that manga recently and felt inspired to make a character based on that character. She must have been level 14 at least, if she is at level 7. Played a bit with her. The Pernilla UD, level 8. So the Death Knights in World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King, released in December 2007. They started at level 55, I believe, or 58, but I think it was 55. So this character was already quite high level. Now she's level 8, and I have never played with her, so she starts at level 8 now. But back in the day, I believe she was 55 or so. Anyway, as a starting character, I could be wrong, or it was only the first one that was 55, and then the rest started lower. She still started at level 20 or something. She's level 8 here. I have never played with her, she doesn't even have a weapon. But I made her to be a copy of the human mage named the same thing. I wanted an undead Death Knight version, an evil version of the character, and created a character with the same looks and stuff, but never played with her. Rendana's UD, same here. I made an undead Death Knight version of my Blood Elven Hunter, Rendana's. She's at level 8 too, was never played with, but I believe that I did play with her a few days ago and got the sword and stuff. I don't know why she doesn't have the sword here. Very weird. I believe I got the sword when I played with her. Anyway, I didn't play with her back then. I created a character and never played with her. I didn't even enter the game. I enjoyed the process of creating characters in case I wanted to play with them later, but I didn't actually play with them. And we have Bellatrix C. I created her like 2 days ago. Unlike the old human paladin, she is kind of censored. First of all, the boobs are not as prominent. They are more flattened out, and also there is no visible skin. So they are censored and covered up compared to in the past where they showed a lot of skin. I created this character only to see what they looked like if I tried to make the character today. So my old human paladin, Bellatrix, looked like this, but without the censorship essentially. She's still available, so why do I not just play with her? Yeah, because if you play an old character, they have been squished in level and nerfed, so all the elite gear, even the epic stuff that were hard to get, that were very powerful, they have been squashed, so stats are really bad. They have about as much damage and defense as a basic weapon, so you need to get new gear if you want to be good in the game. And if you get new gear, it will be covered up like this character. So the only way to keep her the same way she is if you play with the old gear, and the old gear sucks because of the stats that have been reduced on all the old equipment and gear. So you have the choice of either creating a new character that is covered up, or continue to play with the old character and get new stuff, it will cover her up, or you can play with the old stuff and suck in the game, because yeah, they have reduced stats of all the old stuff. So yeah, the old characters looked the same but weren't covered up. This is the same story. My Blood Elven Hunter. Okay, try to remake her and she's all covered up. This mage, Pernilla Old, she was named Old at the end because when I logged in a few days ago, I believe on January 29th, 2025, I believe that a few characters couldn't use the old names anymore. Seems someone else has taken the name while the characters have been in an archive or something. So when I logged in and the characters were restored, took a while until they were restored, then the game forced me to update the name. And I tried to use the old name, Pernilla, then it said that the name was already taken. So I had to add old at the end there for it to work. Okay, so this character is a human mage. She's level 12. But I can promise you that she was at least level 29 or 27 when I played with her. I think she might have even been level 30 because she had a horse, and back then you needed level 30 to get a horse. So I'm pretty sure she was level 30 at least. But she has been reduced to level 12. She's in Stormwind City. Okay, and yeah, I tried to make her once. First of all, I wanted to play attractive females, so that's why she's an attractive female. But also, the old characters from 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. I don't know exactly how long, but they used to have very prominent features and visible skin and stuff. The new characters cover everyone up and do not have as visible features. Anyway, this character was actually inspired by one of my crushes in school. At the time I was 14 or 15 years old back then, and it was 2005 I believe when I made this character, or 2004, probably 2005, because in 2004 I believe I had an old Windows XP computer from 2002, and while it worked fine to play the game outside of main cities, if you weren't in Stormwind City or you weren't in Ironforge, then it worked fine. But if you entered Stormwind or Ironforge or Orgrimmar or any capital essentially, then it lagged and there were graphical issues taking up the entire screen, so you couldn't play in cities. And in 2005 my father got us a Windows XP dated 2005, and using that computer there were no problems being in the capitals. So I believe I created a character in 2005 but started playing the game in 2004. Okay, and in 2005 I was 15 to 16 years old I believe, and yeah, my crush in school, girl I was interested in, looked about the same as this character. I believe she had the same hairstyle for sure, but maybe not the same face, but certainly tried to make her look like her and gave her the same name essentially. So yeah, she has the name and the looks of a girl that I was interested in back then. Okay, which is weird because I logged in like 20 years later and the character looks the same. Okay, but anyway, the hairstyle was essentially the same. Okay, Briandana's Blood Elf female, my main Blood Elf female, level 14 Hunter, Everson Goods. This one I played a lot with, she was at least level 28. So if they've cut levels in half, then she's gone from 28 to 14, but I think she was higher than 28. I remember her being 28 at least, but I think she was higher as she has mounts, but I could be wrong. This is the main Horde character that I played as. I didn't have any other Horde character that was better than this character. So if I didn't play Alliance on Stormskill, I did play Briandanas for the most part on Pterodon. And unlike the new one, she doesn't have this area covered up. actually. They are too covered up in the new characters have too much censorship in my opinion. I think this one looks a lot better, not just this part, but I mean, I think everything looks better. The only thing that is the same essentially is the face and the hair. Yeah, I don't really like because they are the same class. So if this character had been made in 2005, in 2006 I believe, because Burning Crusade the expansion released in 2006. If this had been made in 2006, she would have looked essentially like this one. But this one has some gear that I got when playing too, so this is not the starter gear. She might have had different gear at the start of the game, but certainly she didn't have censorship. The boobs would have been visible for sure. Okay, so she was my best horde character. Now I have a better horde character, because I turned the dwarven warrior Drem, Rasmus's dwarf that I never liked. I played with it a bit, I believe when I got the game account back, I believe the dwarven warrior Drem was at level 20 or so, 17, 18. I leveled him up to level 33 at least. Then he was reduced to level 15, and we saw him in a video a day or two ago. I used I said I wanted to turn Bellatrix Undead into a horde character because I wanted this character to have an undead horse, a skeleton horse, but then they said I needed to change her race, and then I changed my mind and I changed the Dwarven Warrior instead. So I changed the Dwarven Warrior into a Goblin Warrior. So the Goblins, I don't remember when they were added. They were added in a later expansion, so the Goblins weren't available when I played back in the day. Yeah, if they had been, I would have certainly made a Goblin female at some point, and I would have certainly preferred a Goblin female over a Dwarven male. But back then you couldn't change the Dwarf male into something else, and I didn't want to start playing from scratch, because leveling up from level 1 to something like 20 or so took a long time. It wasn't fast like now, so I preferred continuing to play with Rasmus's characters, the gnome and the dwarf. But I have replaced the dwarf with this goblin. I did it before starting the recording actually. So yeah, and he still has Drem's gear, his hammer. It's just been nerfed because it's an old hammer, and he has the clothes too. They actually look pretty good on this goblin. Yeah, all of her gear are outdated, so the gear sucks. You need new gear if you want it to look good. Yeah, it looked better on her than on the dwarf. So yeah, I turned the dwarven male into a goblin female. So I have a goblin female now, and the goblins are part of the horde in Warcraft, in World of Warcraft, so she is one level higher than Rendanas. I used to be maybe level 33 in the past, 32. Then we have the undead Bellatrix. She's level 24. She probably started very high level, 55 or so, 58. Yeah, she's pretty high level. She's the same level as she was the same level as Galarian before I took there was a feature allow one character to level up to level 60, and I did that with my main character because she was level 58 in the past when Max was level 60, so I thought level 60 was almost level 58. So I leveled her up from 24 to 60. Yeah, she was the same level as this girl. This girl used to be 55 or 58, so she's way under her old level. We have Serapinestra, the character I made a few days ago and played with. Sadly the sound weren't recording. Yeah, she's a level 18 Demon Hunter Blood Oath. So the story was pretty good. I'll probably continue to play with her later. Paid about $30 for 2 months. I will at least play for 2 months. World of Warcraft. Okay, so this character is my new character. Level 18. She's higher level than both Riandanas, Nil and Hoti. She hasn't been played as much because leveling up in the Legion expansion, her expansion essentially, takes no time at all. It was very easy and fast. Back in the day, leveling up the other characters took forever, so I have hardly played as much with her as I have with the others that are low level. I probably played a lot more with them than I have with this character. They've still played for 5 hours with this character, but 5 hours in the past probably only got you to level 2 or 3. I don't know, probably maybe level 5. Not 18, that's for sure. Okay, then we have the Gnome Warlock, Barker, named Barter now, Barter All. Rasmus's Gnome that I continued to play as, because I didn't want to start from scratch, because leveling was so slow. And I played him most because I wanted a succubus demon follower. She is like a pet, but a minion or demon instead. The warlocks, they are similar to the hunters, but they have demons instead of pets. And the difference is that they are limited to maybe 5 or 6 demons they can pick from, whilst I believe the hunter can capture wild animals, enemies essentially. If you find enemies that are pets, everything from raptors to wolves to bats to everything like that, then you can, lions etc., then you can make them your pet. So it's a fun little like side gimmick with those characters. Yeah, I mostly played this character for the succubus and lost interest when I had played with the succubus a bit. Okay, so Bellatrix All. She was named Bellatrix before I had to rename her a few days ago. She was my second best character. She was at level 58. No, she was at level 49. 49 back when Max was 60. Played a lot with her. She has an epic sword that sadly has been nerfed. It does very little damage now, but used to do a lot of damage in the past, and she has good skills, and she had good defense and looked good. I tried to make her attractive to long hair and such. But yeah, the gear back then, of course this is not the starting gear. So I started the character, she had used basic gear, and then I got all this elite stuff when playing the game, and part of the fun is finding new armors, shoulder pads, gloves, boots and pants and chest armor, weapons, shields, etc., and improving your skills. But you don't really want to do that when you know that the character will be covered up like let's see here, covered up like this. It kind of ruins the fun of getting new gear. It was more interesting back when you got new sexy gear. I mean, it reminds me of Xena, Warrior Princess. She looks a bit like Callisto, actually, from Xena. That what was attractive. Anyway, she's like a Warcraft Callisto essentially, but she's good. She's not evil. She's a holy paladin, meaning she's a paladin of the light. She's a good character. She has the looks of Callisto essentially, but grey armor instead of black. Yeah, fit better with a good character. But yeah, she has the same style as Xena, Warrior Princess characters. They show their stomach and yeah, look sexy at the same time while being warriors. Modern female warriors cover up the entire character like it's real life. Because this is how a real life paladin would look like. They would have armor that covers everything. This is more realistic, but who wants realistic in a fantasy game? I mean, I wanted sexy because, I was a horny teenager at the time, but also, I mean, come on, we want our sexual fantasies pleased. We don't want realism, we want fantasy, we want we want characters that please our sexual fantasies. We don't want realistic characters from like history or something. This is Warcraft, it's not History Channel or something. Anyway, I like history, but when it comes to female warriors, I don't want them to cover up everything. I want them to throw parts. I mean, they fantasy, they're not real. Okay, so the problem with playing as her is that if I get new gear, it will cover her up, and if I use the old gear, it has been reduced, so she sucks. She's level 22. I could probably upgrade her to be level 60 or 70 or something. I don't want her to be 70, because when they are 70, then they can't do the old quests and stuff and have enemies adjust their levels. But I believe that 60 would be fine, or 50. She was 58 in the past. Max level is once again 60. So if they had kept her to level 58, she would have been exactly how she was, or how she were back in the day. Problem is that they increased the levels to level 80 back in 2007 when Wrath of the Lich King released. So I was at level 58 with this character, Galadria, now named Galarian because he had to rename her. So he was 58 out of 60. Then in 2007, in December, they released Wrath of the Lich King, which increased the level cap to level 80. So all of a sudden she wasn't near the end of where it could get, and needed to level up 22 levels to get to max. And this character was on level 49. So she had 11 levels to go until max at 60, and then they increased to 80. A few years later they seem to have increased it to 120, 130, I don't know. One of those, I didn't play the games, I don't know exactly, 120 or 130. And then when they reduced the levels back to 60, they thought that all the characters should be reduced to fit that. So for example, level 60 now is the old 120, and that means they used some kind of mathematic formula to reduce all the characters to an appropriate level based on the new level cap. So because they reduced level 120 to level 60, they had to also reduce all the characters, and then my characters got mistaken for this character is only level 49 and this character is only level 58 out of 120, so then we need to reduce her to 24 and this one to 22 because it's that far from 120. But these characters were the same level back when max was 60, so they could have just kept them to 60. Anyway, my main character, Galadrian, the Night Elven Druid, she wasn't my first character, but she was my first real character, the one I played with the most. I used a method bonus feature to get her to 60, so she is now 2 levels higher than she used to be. So that's good. But her gear, the armors and the weapon, the hammer here, they are, or mace, they are still nerfed. They have shitty stats. But at least she is level 60, which means her skills and her stats, her health etc. will be good, and her attacks will be good, magical attacks etc. Of course her weapon will suck if I continue to use this weapon, and her defensive stats will suck, but her health is appropriate for her level, and her magical attacks and attacks as a wolf, as a tiger etc. panther is good now. So essentially she is stronger because I had her leveled up. This character is still level 22. I want to level her up to 50 at least, so she is close to her old level, but I would probably prefer... No, she was 49, so I would like her to be 50, because they have nerfed the sword and other stuff. It's probably better to go for 60, so she gets a bonus in stats to make up for the destroyed weapons. Of course I am willing to get new shoulder pads and new capes, new boots, new gloves. All of that I believe is still interesting to get. What I wouldn't want to change is I wouldn't want to change the armor of the body to cover her up all over the place. So I would keep this chest armor and the legs, maybe the pants, and replace everything else essentially. I like this sword because it's an epic sword named the Nightblade that I got from an instance. It was hard to get it, so I like it. It's one of my achievements. I wouldn't get rid of the sword, but I would probably put it aside for a bit different weapon when playing, and then maybe returning it for the menu. I don't know. I like this look, but I would be willing to replace most of her gear, just not the stuff that covers her up. As I still want it to look like a sexy Xena warrior princess character, like Callisto. Okay, yeah, she looks like a good version of Callisto, essentially. Anyway, so yeah, that's my story. So, and we have the Nightman Druid. The Druid can transform into birds, into bears, into panthers, which I thought was cool when I was younger. And she also has some cool mounts, but not all the mounts are shared between characters, unlike in the past, so all of them have all the mounts, except a few mounts that are unique to the Horde, and a few are unique to the Alliance, which is a problem, because the skeleton horse that fits an undead Death Knight can't be used by the human Death Knight, so she can't use a skeleton horse, which sucks. Okay. But yeah, this was my main character. I have memories of playing this character a lot, and this one too, but this one I actually played with friends on LANs, so I have more memories with this one. This one I believe I played with later by myself. So this was the character I played with my old classmates, etc. For the most part, I believe. This is my oldest character. I made. Instead of leveling this character up to level 80, I decided to start from scratch and level this one up to almost level 50. And I also leveled up this guy from level something 14 maybe, or 20 to, or 17 to 47. He was 47. And back then it took forever, it wasn't fast like with this character. So, I am recording using the screen recorder, so that I can speak. I could play with this recorder too, but I believe that we will have stuttering in the game. I want to try it a little bit to see if my fears are justified. If that's the case, we are not gonna be voice recording this game. Instead, I'm gonna use the Bandicam recorder on the other computer when streaming the game, because when I stream it, or when I play using the Steam recorder, I have no stuttering, or extremely little, because it's a bit demanding today. It didn't used to be, but you know, they have more players, they have better graphics, they have expanded locations, etc. So it has some problems in some areas, in the capitals especially. If I do not play with lower settings, of course. It could also be the DirectX 11 drivers of my computer that are outdated, so they don't work as well with the game anymore. Maybe they want you to have Windows 10 or 11 and use DirectX 12. Okay, so, but anyway, it works much better than probably if I use the screen recorder. We'll try the screen recorder in the game, but I fear that we will have a lot of shaking. The screen will shake and there will be stuttering, so if that's the case, I prefer playing with Bandicam, and because Bandicam doesn't work on Windows 7, we'll need to stream it on the Windows 10, where I have Bandicam working, and because the microphone doesn't work there, we will have to not use a microphone. There will be sound of the game, of course. It's a mistake that the sound didn't play when I played this character. It started to play after 2 hours, 20 minutes into the video, and then I had sound for the rest of the video. It was 5 hours, 2 minutes. But yeah, we want sound and we want to speak, but in the worst case we'll only have sound if I can't use the microphone on the other computer, and if this screen recorder is too shitty, if it doesn't record without stuttering, shaking. So we have a level 60 Night Elven Druid. We'll start a game with her. The last time I was logged in with the Druid was when she was level 24. When I used the service to get her leveled up to level 60, it Switch updated all her gear too, so I have updated gear in case I want to play the game with better weapons and such. Because I wanted her to look like the old character in the menu. I restored the old gear. Also in the old video from 2 days ago, 3 days ago, she had different shoulder pads because I had forgotten to replace the older, the new shoulder pads with the old ones. Now I did, so she looks more like the old character now. She has the correct shoulder pads. The new shoulder pads are better looking for sure, but I wanted her to have the classic look that I used to have when I played the game. So of course when you play the game in the past, when you started the character level 1, she looked completely different, and then you got new gear, so of course she has evolved in her looks. But I believe from level 58 and onwards I played a lot with the character where she used to look like this in the game, and I never leveled up again, but I never got any new gear, but I redid a lot of old instances like the Dead Mines, etc., and helped lower level characters or players to level up and such. So I had fun playing earlier stuff with this character over and over again, playing with different people that usually had lower character levels. Essentially befriending people with lower levels by helping them finish the earlier stuff in the game, and that's why I played a lot